Hello, and welcome to this introductory training of the Legislative Records Program by the California State Archives at the California Secretary of State's Office. We hope you find this presentation useful and informative for conducting the process of preparing and transferring legislative records to the state archives during the Capitol Swing move. In this presentation, we will cover the following topics regarding the transfer of legislative records to the state archives. We will cover an overview of the role of the Legislative Records Program, what is considered a legislative record, and what types of files legislators' offices and committees should send to the archives, how to prepare records to be transferred, the proper preparation and packing of your boxes prior to transfer, the Legislative Records Transfer Form, and how to send the records to archives. What is the role of the Legislative Records Program at the state archives? The program provides education and outreach to legislators and legislative staff on the preservation of legislative records, identifies records of California state legislators and committees that have enduring historical value, establishes best practices and guidelines on management of records for legislators and legislative committees, assists and coordinates with the Senate, Assembly, and committees on matters concerning legislative records, and facilitates the successful transfer of legislators' papers and committee records to the state archives. So what types of files should be sent to the state archives? The files the archives typically looks for are those that we determine to have historical value and document California's legislative history. If you are in a legislative member's office, the type of files that staff should identify are bill files, biographical files, caucus files, members' working files, hearing files, legislative committee files, members' working files, press release files, speech files, subject files, voting records. Keep in mind that this is not an exhaustive list of records we find valuable. If you believe you have other records that are valuable, or if you're unsure they are historically valuable, please reach out to LegPro at legrecords@sos.ca.gov. This slide is specifically for legislative committees and outlines what files are classified as legislative records and committee records. Per Government Code 9080, Section D, committee files include committee staff analysis, any written testimony, background materials submitted to the committee, press releases, written commentary submitted to the committee on a bill, resolution, or proposed constitutional amendment. However, written commentary does not include material not used by staff of a fiscal committee to prepare analysis for committee members, communications the committee determined to be confidential, any interim hearing materials, studies, case studies, and articles, versions of bills, resolutions, or proposed constitutional amendments assigned to the committee, relevant interim hearing materials, studies, case materials, and article. Now, we will briefly discuss some of the records your office should reach out to LegPro about to verify whether they are historically valuable or not. Records such as photographs, office, event, and official photographs, official bios and headshots, audio and video files, office, event, interview, campaign, or for social media, voting records, leadership files, staff lists, current and former, subject files, or special reports can potentially be considered historically valuable to the state archives. If you have records similar to the ones listed, both on this slide and on the quick checklist of files from your legislative packet, please reach out to the LegPro team to discuss whether these records should be transferred or not. Now, there are records that we can confirm that the archives is not interested in preserving long term. Records that do not need to be included in your transfer are ones such as case files, constituent casework, congratulations/greetings, correspondence, constituent letters, constituent requests, crank letters, non-record, form letters, routine non-legislative, duplicate files, invitations, payroll and personnel files, travel and expense claims, office financial records. Please keep in mind that the archives is not a storage facility, nor is it a place to send trash, unwanted items, or random documents. Please review the quick checklist of files found in your information packet prior to your transfer to ensure you are aware what kind of records we're looking for versus ones we are not. Now, we will go over preparing your files for transfer. Please remember that all files must be placed, cataloged, and have boxes numbered in accordance with the legislative transfer form attached with your records. When preparing paper records, prepare a box list, i.e., box list includes. All files should be stored and organized in the same manner as they were maintained in the office. They should be packed into standard size record boxes, and all boxes should be numbered in numerical order. When preparing electronic records, name and arrange files by subject or function. Ensure no files are corrupted. Delete any duplicate files. And lastly, contact the Legislative Records Program when you're ready. We will facilitate electronic transfers using an encrypted USB. Typically, an archivist with LegPro will reach out to you to schedule the preferred date and time and will walk over with the encrypted USB. They can meet you at the Capitol, have you drop the records onto the encrypted USB, and the archivist will take the records back to the archives for you. Please reference your information packet or contact the Legislative Records Program at legrecords@sos.ca.gov if you have any questions or concerns regarding how to prepare boxes for transfer. This slide will discuss the Legislative Records Transfer Form. We want to direct additional attention to the new terms of agreement on the Legislative Records Transfer Form. These terms are as follows. The legislature hereby transfers the records listed on this form to the custody of the California State Archives with the understanding that the records will become and remain the property of the California State Archives. Once transferred, the records shall be stored, referenced, and managed in accordance with the applicable laws, regulations, policies, and procedures of the California State Archives and the instructions of the State Archivist. The State Archivist may decline the transfer of records which he or she does not deem to be of historical value. The State Archivist may also destroy or otherwise dispose of any of the transferred documents as permitted by law. Furthermore, the records shall be open to inspection by the public unless exempt from disclosure by express provisions of law. We'll move on now to how this transfer form is completed. On the right side of this slide, you can see what the Legislative Records Transfer Form looks like. The Legislative Records Transfer Form provides a detailed description of the content in your boxes, whether they are legislative/committee or caucus records, and the years the records cover. At the top, you will mark which house your office resides in, the name and contact information of your office, and the number of boxes your office is transferring to the archives. When placing files in boxes, it is important that boxes are numbered so that the numbering remains consistent when filling out your form. For example, you can number your boxes Box 1, Box 2, Box 3, and so on. When filling out your form, please list the box number in the first column, and in the description of records, provide a summary of the contents of your box. For example, if your first box contains bill analysis of bills A to Z, list the bill numbers in the description. If your box contains speeches and subject files, the description can be as simple as speech and subject files. In the third column, you will list the dates or years covered by those records. Examples of transfer forms can be found in your information packet for Assembly, Senate, and committee offices. Lastly, a form must accompany all boxes that the office plans to send to the state archives, and it should be placed in your first box of records. Please contact the archives if you have any questions on how to fill out the form, and we can provide direct assistance to you. Before we move to the actual transfer process, please keep the following information in mind as you are prepping your records for transfer. Records cannot be retrieved from archives once they have been sent to us. Due to the volume of records being sent to us, both as part of the normal window and the increased volume of records we will be receiving during the swing move, we will not be able to return records if they were sent to us accidentally or if they are needed in your new office. This is why it is such a crucial step to make sure you are contacting the LegPro team prior to transferring your records. We want to make sure we know what you're sending us, and also that you understand what you are sending us. Any files that are not ascensioned into the archives are destroyed, so please ensure you are in communication with us regarding any records you are unsure we will keep. In addition, the records ascensioned into the archives collection is public record once the ownership shifts to the archives. This is also very important as you prep your records for transfer to their new permanent home. Now, we would like to review how to prepare your records for transfer to the state archives. First, ensure that you have contacted one of the archivists of the LegPro team to confirm that records should be sent to the archives. You may contact LegPro at legrecords@sos.ca.gov. Once you have contacted a LegPro archivist and they have confirmed the records for transfer, the records should be packed into archive boxes. Please do not pack and stack loose pages into boxes like the first image here. Wrap records in rubber bands as you can see in the second image. Please also avoid sending records in binders or in hanging folders as you can see in the examples on this slide. If possible, use banker's boxes, archive boxes, or record center style boxes for transfer. Please avoid repurposing boxes that are used for holding reams of paper. Please do not send version bill files either, like the one pictured in the second example. Clearly label the outside of each box with the box number and, if possible, with the member or committee name. The labeling format should be as follows: 1. House. 2. Office name. Member, committee, caucus. 3. Description of files. Bill files, hearing files, subject files, etc. 4. Years covered. 5. Box number, which should be in numerical order. Files will be transferred to archival grade boxes after transfer, and this may change the bill file range in each box. Please pack the files using the same arrangement used to create and maintain the records in your office. Do not create a new filing system for transferring. Records should be in labeled manila folders as pictured in the first image. Please avoid overpacking boxes and ensure you are packing documents in an upright position so they do not slump. Remove duplicate materials from files prior to transfer. The archives may remove copies of printed bill versions from folders unless the copy contains significant notations. Place a copy of the Legislative Records Transfer Form in Box 1 of the transfer. We will move on now to how to transfer records to the state archives. Again, please remember to number your boxes and place your Legislative Records Transfer Form in your first box. Offices will need to make arrangements to have records delivered to the state archives. Ensure that you are communicating with the LegPro team via legrecords@sos.ca.gov and that we are expecting your transfer to arrive. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we are often working with the skeleton crew, so please make sure you've confirmed a transfer date and time with the archives so we ensure one of our staff is there to receive it. To schedule pickup and delivery, offices should contact the Assembly Warehouse, and Senate offices should contact the Senate Special Services Desk for further information. After records are transferred, offices will receive a receipt of all materials received, typically within a month following their transfer. As a brief review, keep in mind that records deemed historically valuable are retained permanently in our collection. If records are sent that do not have historical value, they will be destroyed. There will not be an opportunity for the archives to return records to their senders. Once the records have been ascensioned into our collection, they can now be requested and viewed by members of the public or researchers visiting the archives. For additional information or further questions on the Legislative Records Program, you can contact the Legislative Records Program at legrecords@sos.ca.gov, or you can contact the California State Archives at 916-653-7715. The State Archives looks forward to assisting your office with all questions regarding your transfer of legislative records. Thank you.